If you're at work right now, you're watching this video, and you're like, you know what? I don't give a shit what my boss says right now. Russell Wilson is my quarterback. Then go ahead and like this video, because yesterday was not a dream. It's a reality. Our greatest fantasies became realities when Russell Wilson was traded to the Broncos. So like the video, comment me. I honestly just want to create an open field of love for Russell Wilson in the video, the comments of this video. Comment me, like the video to start today's show. I haven't stopped smiling. I really haven't. The fact that Russell Wilson actually got traded to the Broncos, and also a kind of a sweet bonus, I'm tired of Seahawks fans being in my mentions on Twitter saying Russell Wilson's never getting traded. This is all clickbait. Never going to happen. I don't know, Jim. He's a Bronco now. We're just going to relive a little bit of what it was like yesterday afternoon when the news broke that the deal actually happened. Adam Schefter, I love you. I love you. You know why? Because you're the one that gave me that push notification that went ear to ear of smiles right now. Let's rehash the deal a little bit, kind of come back to earth a little bit and revisit the trade itself. And then we're going to look at some other rumors in today's video, like signing Bobby Wagner. Is Von Miller now the favorite for the Broncos because they got the star quarterback? But looking at the deal once again, I think it's an absolute landslide the Broncos won this deal. The fact they even got a draft pick back, a fourth rounder too, not just a meaningless seventh, but an actual decent, first round of day 3, and all you gave up was Drew Lock. Fine, that's just pocket change, really, as a quarterback goes. Shelby Harris, tougher, but he's crossing 30, and as far as defensive tackles go, they don't have the same kind of impact like Russell Wilson does, unless you're Aaron Donald, and Harris isn't Donald. Noah Fant, that's a bit of a tough one because a fan favorite, always wanted him to work out, and here's the deal. Fant's not a top 5 tight end. You didn't give up like a Travis Kelce or a George Kittle to go out and get Russell Wilson. You gave up a rising tight end. I can live with that. 2 first rounders. You didn't even give up, not even 3 first, just 2. One of them is a 9th overall pick, so it's not like it's a top 5 pick, and it's not a QB heavy draft class. And the 2023 first round pick will hopefully be the 32nd overall pick because the Broncos won the Super Bowl. 2 seconds. Fine by me. Adios, sayonara. And a 5th rounder. Who gives a shit? All right. Looking at Russell Wilson, though, what he's done the past couple seasons, I crunched some numbers for you guys, all right? Russell Wilson, his last 4 years, at 31 interceptions. All Broncos quarterbacks in the last 4 years have had 57 interceptions. Russell Wilson is not a top 10 quarterback. He is an elite quarterback. He's a quarterback that if a Marshawn Lynch play call is brought in from his headset and they don't throw that interception at the goal line, Russell Wilson's not leaving Seattle because they are beginning a dynasty. I truly believe that despite them having success after that loss to the Patriots in the Super Bowl and going back to the playoffs, they were still snake-bitten a little bit and couldn't ever move past that. Now the organization does not have a single player on their roster that was a part of that first Super Bowl win, which we're not going to talk about because we got our guy anyway. So you know what? It's a little bit of Benedict Arnold, but we benefited from this one, so who gives a shit? I'm still at a loss of words, though. I'm putting a lot of words out on the big YouTube, on the big W2, Y2, but I cannot formulate thoughts coherently because I still can't believe that Russell Wilson flew to Denver yesterday, got dinner with the boys, went to Elway's, hanging out with the crew in his PJ, landing at Mile High, and he's going to be the Broncos quarterback for not 2 years, but the next, I think, 10 years. I think Russell Wilson can play into his 40s. He's 33 right now. Even if he stops at 41, 42, we have 8 or 9 years to win another Super Bowl. I'll take my chances. And with an offense like this, with Russell Wilson at quarterback, you're going to get Javonte Williams hitting his prime, entering his second year after a great rookie season. I can't even decide who's wide receiver 1. That's the first world problems we have today in Denver. Is it Cortland Sutton or Jerry Jeudy? Who gives a shit? Then you have Tim Patrick. Don't forget, KJ Hamler's coming back. Don't forget that. I honestly do sometimes. I always think of the trio of Jeudy, Sutton, and Patrick. Hamler coming off that ACL injury. Hopefully we get him back and running up into full speed. And then Big Al O steps up and take Noah Fant's spot. Not a bad backup tight end have to step up and take over for Noah Fant. Maybe the Broncos with, by the way, still having a second and third round pick. They still have the Rams picks in this upcoming draft. Can use those picks to replace the tight end void they have now. This is a pretty loaded offense coming our way. This is going to be a very fun offense. The Seahawks, they had weapons too, like DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. But I like this receiving core more. It's much deeper. I like Williams, and I like whatever veteran, or maybe they even look to bring back Melvin Gordon because they're just going to have another party at Mile High and run it back like it's 2015. So yeah, Gordon, you can come back too. What's one more cat in this offense? Speaking of the offense, if you had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 100, where would you put it at? Like if it was a Madden rating. Maybe I'm over my skis here. 95? Is that too much here? We're talking about Russell Wilson paired with 3 great receivers who aren't even in their prime. We're not talking about signing, for example, like Allen Robinson or Mike Williams, who are good wide receivers, but maybe that's the last contract they get. These guys are just hitting their prime. We're about to get the best out of them. If you think we haven't seen the best from these players, you are in for a fun couple seasons coming up. GM George Paton, you are a beautiful, beautiful genius. Sometimes people say an evil genius. He's not evil. He's not evil. He's beautiful. I'm naming my firstborn son George. I never wanted to do that because of George Costanza from Seinfeld. Was always worried that would be what my son would be like. But no. George, thank you. Thank you from everyone at Mile High. And if you want to thank him too, subscribe to the Broncos Breakdown. Not cheesy, not corny, but here's the deal I'm going to make. I've done this before on the channel. I love writing letters. I love keeping the United States Postal Service in business. So I'm going to include your name because YouTube gives me that option. I can see who subscribes from the video. And I'll put it at the bottom of a thank you letter to George Paton. I'm going to mail it right to his desk, right to his office at Mile High. So make sure you subscribe if you want to thank George Paton, or if you've already subscribed, just comment, include me too as well in the comment section below. I still can't believe this picture is about to become a reality. I've used this picture before in thumbnails about trade rumors for Russell Wilson, but he's going to wear number 3. I'm sorry, Drew Lock. You're not going to be able to hold on to that number. I'm not trying to bash him, but your number's not getting retired. Russell Wilson's going to take it over, and for the first time in quite some time, a great quarterback is going to wear the number 3 in Denver. Here's the second half of today's show. Could the Broncos now bring Von Miller home and sign Bobby Wagner? Because the Seahawks released Bobby Wagner after trading Russell Wilson. Hawks fans have just got to be melting right now. I could not imagine what it's like. Couldn't be me, not me. So we'll look at that in just a moment. But first, BetUS is our proud sportsbook partner. And while we can't bet just yet on the Broncos Week 1 matchup, which, by the way, I either hope is against the Chiefs, so we can end that streak in Week 1, or is against the Seahawks, because that would just be great entertainment on Sunday Night Football. But we can't bet on March Madness. So if you've got a good feeling, here are the top 5 favorites for the March Madness tournament coming up. If you got a good feeling, maybe Gonzaga, maybe something. After this, Washington does get a bit of a bone, right? They get something, at least an NCAA championship. So I kind of like the Bulldogs, honestly. But if you think it's going to be Kentucky, I'm a Tennessee guy, so I'm hoping it's my Volunteers. But let me know when you make your picks at BetUS by going to chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Broncos125 to get that deposit bonus. Back to Bobby Wagner. Like I said, the Seahawks cut him late on Tuesday night. I don't know if it's a rebuild or it's a retool. It's going to be a rebuild if they draft a quarterback. It'll be a retool if they find a way to trade for a quarterback like Jimmy Garoppolo, which I doubt the Niners would do, or Kirk Cousins or something like that, or maybe Deshaun Watson. I don't know how much you're even stepping back if you got Deshaun Watson. But like Russ, he was also drafted by Seattle in that same draft class, and the two have played side by side ever since then. And he helps the Broncos, who need to replace either Josie Jewell or A.J. Johnson if they don't bring either back in free agency. Wagner was getting up in the age column. He quietly had maybe his best season yet. I mean, he had a career high in tackles, and I'm pretty sure a Seahawks franchise high in tackles at 170. Bobby Wagner in his last 9 seasons has been a first-team All-Pro 7 times. He was a Pro Bowler in 2020. He had a great year in 2021. At the office, we were debating what a contract could look like. But first, what do you think? Should the Broncos sign Bobby Wagner? I think so. I think you sign him to like a 2-year, $21 million contract where you guarantee $15 million of it, or maybe even guarantee a little bit more of that. I think he's got plenty left in the tank. You sign Bobby Wagner and either Josie Jewell or A.J. Johnson, and that's a great interior interior linebacking crew. And you bring Von Miller home. You get him back on the edge with Bradley Chubb like nothing ever happened. And he doesn't just come home with his suitcase and get his old locker room back. He comes home with the Rams' second and third round pick. And you take those 2 picks and you draft right tackles. Or you even sign a right tackle. Because I'll tell you what, the Broncos, just like when they got Peyton Manning, I think are going to be the hottest team in free agency in terms of where free agents want to go to win a ring and maybe even take a bit of a discount to do it. And after all the chaos yesterday, George Paton somehow actually came out in the positive in cap space. The Broncos saved $12 million when they got rid of Drew Lock's contract, Shelby Harris, Noah Fant, and even the contract they would have to give to that 9th overall pick. You add all that up and you subtract what you're going to have to pay Russell Wilson. Now, he may get an extension, so that could revise the statement. You come out $12 million in the green. That's more money to spend on a top-tier right tackle or to bring Von Miller back. And that's why I think Denver is the top destination for free agents. Where else would you want to go that's closer to a Super Bowl ring, that can afford the money? Like Green Bay maybe, but they just gave Aaron Rodgers $200 million. They don't have the cheddar to spend on top free agents. The Bucs aren't doing anything right now after Tom Brady left. Maybe the Chiefs, but like I said, they don't have a ton of money either. They're kind of in the middle area. I think Denver is the top destination for free agents. They had the 6-month cap space before the trade yesterday, and they didn't fall that far back. They didn't fall that far back from it after making this move. I'm going to ask this question one more time. I've asked it before, but it still works like a charm. If you want Von Miller to come back to Mile High, type his jersey number. Not 40, 58. Although if he does wear 40, it just gives you an excuse to get 2 Von Miller jerseys. 1 in 58, 1 in 40. Jordan wore multiple numbers for the Bulls. He wore 12 one time, actually. So, a legend like that, maybe he deserves 2 numbers. We'll retire both numbers. Who gives a shit? Type 58 down in the comment section if you want to see Von Miller come back to Mile High. Wrap up the video one more time. I will never get tired of looking at this graphic. Look at that trade. We got Russell Wilson, and a lot of you guys, rightfully so, called cap on me when I do mock Russell Wilson trades that always included 3 first-round picks and someone like Jerry Jeudy or Tim Patrick. Didn't give up anything. You didn't give up anything in the core. Noah Fant's really the only core guy, which I can live with. It's not like Noah Fant was turning heads. He has 600, 700-yard tight end. That's great and all, but Al-O will be just fine. He'll get you 400 or 500 yards. I'll take that 200-yard deficit for Russell Wilson. And sure, I can understand that's 5 draft picks, and you get 1 back, so we'll just call it even at 4 draft picks. But ask this to yourself. If you took all those 4 draft picks, would their skill set combined amount to the contribution Russell Wilson can make to winning football games? I say no. I don't think Malik Willis is going to be the next Russell Wilson or Kenny Pickett. So I get it. It's tough to move on from draft capital, but sometimes you got to spend a little money to make a little money. And that's what this move was. And it still doesn't feel real. I just cannot believe the fact that Russell Wilson actually got traded. The roller coaster of emotions going from the guy who wants to stick with cheese in Wisconsin to landing a better quarterback. I'll say that now. Maybe a better quarterback and a younger quarterback still riding the high in Russell Wilson. Sign me up. Cannot believe this actually happened. Guys, if you love the Broncos and if you're watching this video for the first time and you like what we do because you love getting Broncos news and rumors, hit that big red button, subscribe. We're putting out content all year long. And this is officially, I'm calling it right now, a Russell Wilson podcast, a Russell Wilson YouTube channel. We love you, Russ. Mr. Russell Wilson, Russ Wilson, Danger Russ, whatever you want to be called. I'll call you it. I'll name my second-born son because the first one's already George. Second one is now Russell Wilson, Mr. Unlimited. That's his middle name. That's me, George Russell, Mr. Unlimited Peterson. All right, that's going to do it for us here on the channel. We'll catch up with you guys later for the latest Broncos news and rumors. But until then, go Broncos, and God bless you, Russell Wilson and George Paton.